Hello and welcome back. We're gonna have a fun one today.
What's up, guys? It's me, Karim.
Karen?
Karim and
Carmen?
Anus.
Karim.
What's his name?
Respect. Well, I'm just gonna call you Carmen.
He is a big advocate of free speech, which is awesome.
So presumably, this video is going to be about you defending his right to free speech, and not much else, right?
And that's great. I support that. So I'm going to use my free speech to respond to you. Alright, Anus? Can we at least commend that he's actually reading the Quran?
Mahalabak! You're not the kind of guy who's just gonna make clickbaity titles to get a bunch of views, right? You wouldn't do anything that slimy, would you? I mean, you're one of the good guys. You think he's fighting the same battle you are, right? Right.
I respect that. That's pretty cool. I mean, if you want a proper dialogue, you have to read the Quran, and he did. But you're misinterpreting. Mahalabak! So basically, you're kind of punishing her by not sleeping with her.
Alright, Carmen, you got a point.
Sorry, I keep getting the name wrong.
He misinterpreted the verse, but I'm going to speak to this point since you made it. And the point is, this happens in Western countries. This doesn't happen in the Arab world for some reason. Why do you think that is?
Women do this to guys all the time.
Do you think it's because the Quran says it's okay to rape women? It does say that in other parts. I noticed you didn't really go talk about those parts here.
Okay, well that explains everything.
You kind of skipped over the part where it says you can beat your wife.
Women do this to guys all the time.
I suppose you didn't take exception with that or something, right?
Women do this to guys all the time.
I mean, maybe you can clarify a bit better in the future.
Alright, look, if you want to start talking like this, you gotta be fair and interpret it in a fair way, Anus.
When you're actually supposed to be talking about someone's right to free speech.
Mahalabak!
So basically what you're saying is that Amos can make any argument he wants as long as it's yours. He's not allowed to make arguments that you perceive to be unfair. That would just be terrible. The worst thing in the world because... reasons, I guess?
I mean, Amos? Sorry about that.
Respect!
Why can't he make bad arguments? And you just take them apart if you disagree with them. Like I'm doing now. I'm not telling you you have to improve your style of argument, because you're not doing very well at it. You've got pretty video and stuff, but then again, I kind of do too. I've got the power of YouTube the same as you. And I can't tell you, I mean, I guess I can, you do have free speech also. You can tell him that's how he's supposed to do it. But you can't say then that he has free speech if you don't want him to be able to speak freely.
Yes, it does actually say hit them. Let's be fair, let's be honest. It does say hit them in the Quran. What you don't know is that if you read more deeper, it says that you may hit them with a tiny stick, no bigger than your thumb.
Alright, so I went down into my basement and I found a stick that is no bigger than my thumb. And another stick that is no bigger than my thumb. You know, these things are nice. They're really cool to just... But yeah, that's cool, right? Karen? Carmen? I don't fucking know your name.
What's his name?
But this, right to the head, that's okay in the Quran, right? I mean, I can just do any damn thing I want. Well, that won't hurt at all, will it? No, you can beat her with a stick that's not as big around as your thumb. Like this one right here. That I could just drive through the wall.
Just like disciplining a child. You cannot hit them anywhere on the face and you cannot leave bruises. Can we at least commend that he's actually reading the Quran? I respect that. That's pretty cool. I mean, if you want a proper dialogue, you have to read the Quran, and he did. But you're misinterpreting.
It's really interesting how you're commending him for doing something that you yourself are not doing.
But you're misinterpreting a whole lot of things.
I mean, one would think if you want to make a point that the Quran says something, you would just tell us what it says.
If you want a proper dialogue, you have to read the Quran.
But perhaps that's too much work. You only read the verses when other people take them out of context, right? Not when you do.
Bruises. Now, a lot of people out there take this and misinterpret it and beat their wives crazy, which is completely wrong. I honestly don't agree with that, but it's in the Quran, and basically that's what it means, and I'm just telling you what it means.
Don't get me wrong. I'm glad that you do think it is wrong. However, I'm telling you that critics on the other side can also say the same thing about you. I hope that I've illustrated that pretty well so far in the video. But on the off chance I haven't, I'll say it very clearly. The people who disagree with you, who are of your religion can say exactly the same thing about you.
I mean, in the same book that you say actually tells you to rape women, it says this.
Surah 2, verse 222 and 223, in the context of one another, they question thee, O Muhammad, concerning menstruation, say, it is an illness, so let women alone at such times, and go not unto them, until they are cleansed. Basically, if they're on the period, don't have sex with them, because they're not clean. Your women are a tilth for you, so go to your tilth as ye will. Basically, any time you want, as long as they're not on their period, and they've gone through the proper cleansing ritual.
In Women and Nisa, Surah 19, it says, you who believe, it is not lawful for you to inherit women against their will.
Also, while looking through my version of the Quran, the numbering system is different, so I'm going to reference the surah by the name. This comes from the Surah of Light. In my version, it is 24, verse number 6. As for those who accuse their wives, but have no witnesses except themselves, let the testimony of one of them be 4 testimonies. And that's important because a couple verses earlier it says you need 4 men to make an accusation. Swearing by Allah that he is one of those who speak the truth. And yet a 5th, invoking the curse of Allah on him, if he is of those who lie. And it shall avert the punishment from her if she bear witness before Allah 4 times that the thing he saith is indeed false. So you heard that right. If a woman claims that a man raped her, she has to do it 4 times in the name of God. And if a man can produce another witness, or 3 more witnesses, then the woman gets some kind of punishment. So basically, the Quran says that testimony is much greater than evidence. So if a woman were to come forward with such a complaint and did not have sufficient testimony, according to these men of God, then she would be found guilty or not believed in her complaint. And considering they would have been alone, as it said there, the man can basically say whatever he wants and say he is a man of God. And then the woman's claim is pretty much invalidated. Because as he rightly points out in the video, women are an inheritance, they are property in the Quran.
Huh! I mean, I hope that makes sense.
Allah has made some of them to excel others, and because they spend out of their property.
What? I don't get it. Women can actually divorce men for whatever reason they like. Reading this, it shows that women actually can get a lot of gifts. I mean, I don't get it. Why do women always have to get gifts? Why can't we get gifts for marrying the girls? Like, look, over here it says...
So basically you're asking what the man gets out of it when you just told us that the woman is literally property and inheritance based on when the man dies. His brother, for example, can inherit his wife. Now, it's in her best interest for it to be part of her will or whatever, but that doesn't really matter here because they're saying literally the man gets the woman as a piece of property, and you're asking, well, why don't men get something? If you think about it, whatever they're giving to the woman is literally theirs because God says so. You're not seeing something here, and I don't know what it is, but that's going to be the end of the video for today. This video just kind of keeps going on and on and on.
He is a big advocate of free speech, which is awesome.
Keep in mind, the premise of his video was to discuss a YouTuber who got sent to jail for speaking words, at least according to the title. But we all know how that goes. Sometimes you just gotta make up a title that's not related just to get a few clicks. So, like, dislike, I don't care, push buttons. It's your free speech. Tell me what you did or didn't like. Leave me a comment. I mean, I really appreciate that. Go ahead and check out my links. I have a Patreon, I have a blog, I'm on Twitter. If you want to give me some money, that'd be fantastic. I'll get some good equipment. I'll get some cool things. I might do more harmonica stuff. Who knows? Tell me what you like. And as always, this is Reverend JR, signing off.